Hello everybody. I want to ask you a question. What do you think you do in your life that's functional? Adapt, evolve, The reason I'm asking that question is reality is that when you're successful at something, it's usually because you're doing it functionally. And it's really important for us to sit back and look at ourselves and say, what am I doing functional? And what am I doing dysfunctional? And the reason why it's so important is because what functional is really means right or the truth. It means a lot of things. For myself personally, this really was important to me when I first lost my arm, because I had to right away start being very functional, because every little thing that I was doing depended more on me being functional. And it came to me how really important that is. Now, think about this. A lot of times we get involved in things in our life, in our world, relationships, work, hobbies, your own personal things, all these things, and there's so many things that we do and don't do, right and wrong, right? Well, what is it that you do when you're successful? Well, when you're successful, you're usually being functional. And what I mean by that is, think about when you do little tiny things like shaving, basic things, brushing your teeth, eating, all those things that you do, driving, everything that we do on a daily basis, you've become functional doing them. And one of the problems I see a lot of people have, and I've noticed in myself, is that sometimes you confuse functional with being consistent. And we get into this law where we're just constantly doing things, and we're thinking because we're doing the same thing over and over again that it's functional. And that's why you always have to kind of look down at yourself and kind of figure out, am I really being functional? Is there a better way for me to do this? As a martial artist, I had to deal with this so much. I mean, having one arm, I had to completely change my stance, the way I looked at myself as a warrior. Everything had to change in order for me to be functional. In my training, I used to do a lot of bench pressing, and now I do flies with an attachment I made. My personal fighting stance, instead of being squared up, it's more like this and how. Everything had to be functional. And this is really what it takes for you to succeed in anything in life. And when you think about it, what is it that you do that you do 100% right? Most of the time, we can always improve on what we do, okay? But that doesn't mean it's not functional just because we have to improve it. The whole key to it is, can we subconsciously and consciously both simultaneously work on being functional? It's like as a martial artist, we drill over and over again, we spar, we do self-preservation, and we do drills to make us better, and self-perfection, and we do all these things that will enhance our ability to defend ourselves. And the more functional you are in your training, it's going to come out in your ability to defend yourself, your ability to fight. And it's the same thing in the real world. You have to understand that everything we do depends on whether or not we're functional. And that's why I call it functional reality, because it's the reality of being functional. It is what is right. It's what works. And I think a lot of times, people don't want to judge themselves. We have no problem judging other people and looking at our friends and our family and coworkers and telling them what's wrong with them, or maybe not even telling them to their faces, but talking to yourself. It's about you. Can you look down upon yourself and say, look, I'm not doing this functionally, or I'm doing it functionally, but I could do it better. So it's like, it's as a martial artist, I run across this all the time. I used to do drills that I do different now. I've learned how to do them better. I've learned how to become a better teacher, a better sifu because of this. It is very important to always be willing to look at yourself and see, am I being functional? And that is the best way for you to constantly be working on that. Now, in the Adapt Life philosophies, we have different concepts in order for you to achieve this. But in reality, everything that you do, whether it be any number of our philosophies, anything that I teach here at Adapt for Life, it's all about being functional. I don't care if you're adapting. I don't care if you're working on your goals. I don't care if you're working on your personal life. I don't care if you're being responding, not reacting, it doesn't matter. What you're doing, you have to have it based on being functional. So it's functional reality. So what you want to do is right now look at yourself in the mirror and think, what is it in my life, A, that I'm not happy with? And B, what is it in my life that I'm happy with, but I can make it better? And then sit back and think, well, what can I do to change these things? And you'll find out the formula, which is pretty simple. The first thing you have to do is adapt, which is learning. The second thing you have to do is evolve, which is applying what you've learned to yourself. And the third thing you have to do is prosper. And how you accomplish all those things is living your life in the realm of functional reality. And if you like this video I just did, please check out my other videos, or just like this, at seafoodcorp.com. Thanks.